would have noticed that Queen of Pain used Sonic Wave in that fight, it might give them a little more confidence, but there's just no point in risking it in such a big match as this. It's not like they're losing anything by just waiting another 30 seconds, and there's no like ages expiring. They have to have a feeling there's no big key items coming up for CDC anytime soon.
In fact, EG can just wait for the next Aegis of the Immortal or use Roshan as bait, because Tdz have to contest this. If they actually go up against EG with Aegis as the Immortal, you can just give it a Storm Spirit. Samal will go in. He'll probably murder 2, come back to life again, murder another 2, and the game is done. That's the position Tdz is in right now, with actually over a 20k net worth advantage going the way of Evil Geniuses. It's the same on the experience as well. Tdz have had so much control in all of their games through like group stage, as well as here in the main event. They've crushed EG before, and well, LGD didn't stand much of a chance either, and now you just look at it, and EG, they are so far ahead of Tdz, and Tdz need to find something. They get the magical DD rune on bot lane. Dire have no vision, so they can take this, and they're actually waiting under the cover of smoke. It's a very tempting thing to actually go for this. They're going to charge in. Samael being pushed back and Orchid up. They're going to turn around, but now Universe hookshot in Samael. Almost dead. He is dead. Where's your buyback? Here she comes. The TPing the tier 1 towers. 2 heroes down already. This could be it. The money will let EG win this fight. They kind of want it anyway with the amount of damage the Fear has. Storm jumping all the way back up again. They fight aggressive. Queen of Pain the only one up. It felt like the last hope, and it was. EG will take game 1 in the TI5 Grand Final from what looked like an unstoppable CDEC.
They just got counterplayed really hard in this game. Usually their smoke ganks work out in the early game and they find the key kills they use to snowball the game, but in this case, EG read the map very well. They take a lot of initiative themselves with the Storm as well as the Clockwork. Very well executed game by them.
Terrific Dota from Evil Geniuses. Tdz will have a moment to think about what has just happened here. And of course, while we have that moment, we'll throw it back to the panel.
Yes, thank you, Toby and Cinnamon down there in the main arena. EG take game 1. Gentlemen, I think there was a common theme throughout that game, and that was that the pressure that we're used to seeing from CDEC being applied time and time again, that speed at which we talked about they play, didn't pay off in that game at all.
No, they got read, and nice counter ganks by EG. Aoi was at the right place. They also backed off nicely on top lane. That was really hard. And all they did was kill Storm a lot, who then made a comeback to have the fastest Orca of the tournament.
Yes, indeed. We're going to take a look at a moment around about 19 minutes in or so. It's just another example. There were many of these actually where they tried to pressure EG and it just didn't work. It almost every time ended up in a three-man death. So talk us through this one.
Well, Fear joins this fight as well, so he plays with the gyrocopter aggressively here, coming in, and this is probably where Tdz found resistance. That EG, they brought everyone for these fights.
Yeah. And this wasn't the only one. There were many other examples of the same thing happening, Winter. You know, that we talked about that speed and pressure that they play. They just weren't allowed to play their game this time round.
I actually feel this is actually the game they have to slow down the pace when the early game didn't go so well for them, and they were just kind of forcing it too much. I felt they could have just maybe sit back and farm. They have PL. They are so strong late game, but they didn't need to rush it, I felt.
Yeah, one thing that they didn't do, they killed Storm a lot, but they didn't let the Queen CS and casually take over the lane, making it hard for Storm to come back. Instead, they killed him, he comes back full HP, and Queen was low. Her last hits were actually like half of the Storm's.
Yeah, has PPD cracked the Q genius, do you think?
I think it's more so CDEC does not show any signs of flexibility, and they haven't had to adapt until this game. So they probably came into the grand finals looking like, hey, we can just run the same thing. We haven't lost with it. Why change? They went through the draft thinking the same thing. It hasn't worked, but they still have a couple games to bounce back.
Okay.
And
Seb, final word?
The way EG approached it, like they were ready for, they were never outnumbered. They always had TPs. They were always ready for any sort of fight. And more than that, they all bought, you know, it's very little things, but they all bought magic wands early on. For example, they had a casual Brasso on PPD. They went to Meg first on Skyras, Orchid first on Storm. They were ready to fight. They were like, we're going to be a force to fight. Let's be ready. And they were. So, I mean, CDEC could have won those fights, but it was EG winning them.
Yeah, with Crystal Maiden and Tranquil, they always had full HP and mana, and they were always in position. They were just always ready to fight. I can't stress that enough.
Okay, game one goes the way of Evil Geniuses. We'll get more thoughts from you in just a moment, and we'll also talk about the game 2 draft. But Casey is down in the bowl with a number of fans. How you doing, Casey?
We're doing great, and obviously that was a fun game to watch, but I want to know how it felt down here. Pretty good? Pretty good? Excuse me? I'm just going to sit here. Okay. What did you think of the draft?
I thought the draft was great. EG baited out the Lesh, and then they turned it all around. And that last pick, Sky, was really impactful.
Did you predict that it was going to end like this by the way it started? Just say yes, you look super smart.
Yes. I always believed in EG.
Well done. What about you? What did you think of that game? That was pretty intense.
My thoughts were die, Lesh, die. But it was really great. I hope Cdz puts up a better fight in game 2 because I'm looking for a good 5-game final. So, yeah.
All right. Yeah, it's going to be good. This is just the beginning, people. We could see 5 games of this. You think we're going to go to 5?
I hope so. It'll be great.
You guys want to see 5 games? Bring it on. Yeah. All right. Now, we're going to send it back to the desk, but we have to have some energy to do it. Will you help me? That's terrible. Okay, ready? Yeah! Yeah!
Okay, all right, save your energy down there. Don't spend too much of it. This could be a long day, and it could be 5 maps, so keep some back as well. Thank you, Casey. That sign down there was upside down, up the wrong way.
Oh, yeah, PPD is top farmer, for sure.
Yeah, brilliant. It's great to see the crowd having a good time, and we're going to move into game 2 now, and the draft is almost upon us. So, Merlini, I want to start with you first and give you guys a chance to kind of, you know, come back at us with some positive vibes for CDEC.
Well, they're not first pick. That's
going to be a problem.
That's a big problem.
Okay,
that's not positive at all.
This is supposed to be positive, guys. These guys are the other team.
See what PPD did to those CDEC
It's got in their heads as well.
No,
they're so depressed now.
They're going to give, I feel they're going to give Naga this time. They have to give Naga. And they're going to probably do the same thing. Maybe pick Visage to counter the song.
Do you think they will take Naga? Because Seb made a great point before the game, and he said, you know, they've lost all the games that they've given that away. They won't want to give that away. Well, they won't want to give techies, we know. So
among the 3, I would.
Okay.
If I'm in their shoes and I'm playing the way they are playing, I would rather play against Naga instead of playing against Sumel's Leshra.
Really? Okay.
Definitely.
All right. Well, what about you guys? Would you prefer to?
I actually believe Naga is a real trouble for them. I think it ruins the style that they want to play. Counter initiates and counter ganks is the strongest point that they run into.
I actually disagree because Naga has a very long cooldown and they are always fighting. So that could actually play that into their favor, that they are fighting so much that the cooldown becomes a factor.
But EG showed that they could be disciplined and that they didn't have to get called every time. So they can just wait for that cooldown.
Okay. Players are on their way out into the arena. And back for game 2. Evil Geniuses on their way in alongside their opponents, CDEC. The Cinderella wildcard story all the way from the wildcard to the grand final stage. The scene is set for game 2. It is a best of 5. Neither team starts with a map. I did have one question. Someone asked me, actually, do CDEC start with a map advantage because they came from the upper bracket? The answer is no. It is dead level best of 5.
Their advantage is, of course, that they got to watch EG before this series.
Yep.
So
and they only played it once on the day.
Yeah,
I know there's some arguments about that as well, so I'll leave that one just hanging out there. As the players make their way back to the pods and get ready for game 2, we'll discuss the draft in a little bit more detail. We've already started. You guys are fighting nicely. I'll just stoke the fire a little bit and let you go.
And I want to come back to what we said before, like with those 3 first pick, Tdz, Naga, Leshrac, CDEC, they don't play Leshrac. It was a Leshrac support. I was like, maybe it might be a Leshrac support, and it was at the end of the day. So I really feel like EG, they have a huge draft advantage. I can't stress it enough. It's really huge.
Yeah, I think Garter played a good support Leshrac, but Lina just fits better for it because when you have level 6, the ulti is much better than the ulti on Leshrac as a support.
That Leshrac on support is just, it's a good
It's
hero,
not
but that's
scary.
nothing, it's not as close as Leshrac on solo.
Yeah, and I think it's a huge sign of weakness when you pick Leshrac and the opponent doesn't draft to counter the Leshrac and you still put the Leshrac on support. That for me is a big sign of weakness in the draft.
Okay, so what do you suggest for CDEC then?
First thing first, no Leshrac for EG.
Okay, that's the first thing. What's the second thing?
First pick techies. I would like to see that. That would not be a sign of weakness, and I think it would actually, like, you know, throw EG for a loop, because EG's just like, they know exactly what's coming from CDEC for the most part. They're going to fight early. They're, you know, going to be constantly aggressive even if they're behind, and, you know, PBD knows what's coming.
I think they can refine what they did in this game. They just executed their gank strat a little bit sloppy, I'm gonna say, because they got counter ganked really hard. Sure, they got some early kills on Storm, but they don't matter much. So I think they should stick with the same playstyle, just change up their execution.
Okay, change of execution, you agree?
I think EG is gonna... I think I don't want a 3-0, but I think EG is way better.
Really? Why? Why the difference? Because they've both played each other twice and they've won each.
To me, that was the game CDC could have won.
Right.
If it was one game, it was that one. The next one.
Do you think they should have won that?
I don't know, but I feel like they had the best chances at winning that one. If they adapted and changed their playstyle, as you said, like because they did have a PL, then maybe.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, gentlemen. We are about to head back into the arena for game 2 of the draft.
And that was a techie ban.
C-Deck Gaming versus Evil Geniuses. Grand Finals, Game 2.
They're so fast with the draft, they're actually beating voiceover man every time. Look at this.
They're like halfway
already. Leshrac first picked again. Gyro Clockwork back on the board. And as you rightly pointed out, we do have a Techies ban and a Naga Siren ban as well. So it pretty much was what we thought, but not quite the way you thought.
Because what we actually forgot to think about, and that's probably why we're not drafting White's PPD, is that he's picking Dire over first pick, and it makes a lot of sense when you think about it, because indeed the Leshrac, they can't really use it. So he's just picking Dire over first pick.
Yeah, and we saw CDC picking Dire all the way through the group stages, so they favoured that all the time.
Yeah, and all the way until very late in the main event as well, where they did pick Radiant once, but that could be to try and say, hey, we can play Radiant too, whereas they must be more comfortable on Dire. There's no way that they're not. So I think this is smart from PPD.
If you were PPD, though, wouldn't you rather get first pick?
I don't think so.
I thought
because you get Leshrac, Naga, or Techies.
Yeah, you're gonna get one if you're first pick.
But you just played against the Leshrac and you were not scared of that.
That doesn't mean that they can't switch it up to mid. That's what we were scared of.
That has to be the way that they're going to play, isn't it?
I mean, I would have. If I were C-Deck, I'd be like, okay, we got to put this thing mid. He's too weak as a support.
I think this is risky from him. I kind of agree. I think getting first pick sounded safer, but if he thinks like it is true that their Leshrac was not so impressive, but they can maybe play it mid. But why would they run it on support last game if they actually can destroy Leshrac mid? Like, it doesn't make sense.
Like I say, it's a big sign of weakness, though. That's why PPD is reading it.
He's just
He's just like taunting him.
Exactly, yeah.
It all depends how high EG think that C-Deck are rating Dire. They played very many games on Dire before they actually tried to play one game on Radiant. Sure, they won the Radiant game.
And the Skywrath pick was really good because Aggressive almost always builds his PL drums into BOTs without a heavy farming style, and his silence just owns him until he gets Diffusal.
To me, that's really hard though. The Cold Embrace is very nice. You can just protect yourself. And it's a nice way to try and keep the Clockwork alive after he initiates, actually.
I mean, they still have a lot of team fight with the Wyvern plus CM plus Gyro, so
Oh.
there's still a lot of synergy within their own lineup.
I don't even think they had to ban the PL, to be honest. Looking at EG's lineup, they have a great lineup to deal with PL.
Queen of Pain.
Oh,
And Quap yet again.
what is going on?
Now I kind of hope that it's not a Core Leshrac, because Core Leshrac and Queen together really don't mesh well.
We saw that from VP, and we felt that it didn't work very well together.
Yeah, if you don't win super early, I think the only way you can play Queen of Pain and Leshrac Core together, you have to build Necro Book and push, like Necro Queen. But else it just doesn't work.
I mean, unless you go completely, I'd say YOLO, you just keep on diving and keep on, like, if you're so much ahead, then I could see Quap and Leshrac, you know, being able to actually carry you and end the game, but it's indeed not the best core duo to have, because as we said earlier, those heroes, they do the same pretty much.
That is indeed very true.
I mean, the first rotation has to be very successful. They're going to do the same thing. Queen, if they do Queen safe lane, they're going to move.
Horribly wrong for EG, but CDEC, their movement, they don't leave any lane unpressured.
EG have to start getting somewhat active, or at least they need to get out their amazing counter ganks that they had in game number 1. But it's way less predictable in this game how the movements are going to be because of the pressure CDC are putting on the lanes in general. Last game they didn't have the strongest laning phase, but this time around they're the ones kind of deciding the tempo of the game. This could be an interesting play for EG if they could manage to get the setup in the bottom lane. Shiki is pretty far up the lane. They can move in the Clockwork with Battery Assault, and of course AUI can fly over here with the Arctic Burn. They're thinking about it, but they don't feel like they have enough information to really go for this kill right now.
They don't know who else is behind it. They know they've at least blocked up the camp, but that doesn't mean anything. They're not seeing any other heroes. In fact, Husker is the man just sitting in middle lane wondering what's going on. And if Universe aggressively moves down the lane, Shiki will just back up. He's got Arcane Bruise. He's quite happy just to bail out. And in fact, yeah, now he's going to realize this is not going to work. Throws out an Observer Ward, but this might have actually, it didn't get pinged out by CDEC, but they have an Observer Ward of their own watching the movements of the Wyvern. Another reason why Shiki's being a little bit more on his toes. Shards and Snowball going on Samal. He's well behind the tower, and Guard is throwing up the sigil to ensure his safety as he retreats back from the tier 1.
If they don't get him locked in with the shards, this kill is just not happening unless they have a third hero in the gank. So it is going to fail. And EG are once again, they're looking good in the mid lane as far as farm goes, but this time around, Fear is not having a free lane. He has been ganked. He is also tied on farm with the Leshrac, whereas in the last game, I feel like he was having a little bit of a... No, was he even having an early lead on CS? I think in the beginning, Aggressive might have had the same, but...
Aggressive was ahead of him.
Yeah.
Had a lot more denies as well.
But Fear very quickly caught up. I don't think that's going to be the case in this game. I think Shiki is going to be able to stay toe-to-toe with him at the very least. Also, Core Leshrac farms very quickly when he gets a couple items. So. How long has AUI been here?
The last 2 to 3 minutes. And now PPD being slowed up. PPD turns for just one Frost Nova. He can't do anything about it. EG lose one. The rocket damage actually quite heavy into Leshrac, but meanwhile, you're snowballing up to Samal. He's wind running up, and now the call down from Fear with a rocket barrage and fly cannon. They get a Shackle on Garda. He can't ensure the last hit of damage to try and bring down Samal, and the extra support. The Sonic Wave comes in from Aggressive. Perfect time to move in, so it'll be a 1-for-1 trade-off.
I love the fact for EG that Fear is getting involved here and goes for the counter gank mid. They have to kind of bait CDC into these positions where the call down can turn on them, and they get one kill here only, unfortunately for them. As was that what happened to the bottom? Oh, it's okay.
Everything's fine. Apart from Sumail's life, that's not as fine.
He's not looking too good right now. But Tdz once again with a better trade, and AUI wasted so much time in that bottom lane. He was hanging around, hoping for the gank, and the moment they finally rotate over PPD, he just gets killed. Nice shackle in the mid lane.
They need more control on him. They do have the Sentry Ward down, so they're watching with the Broodmothers going in a hook shot in from Universe, combining with the power shot from the Wind Ranger. Before this was going to happen, I was kind of like, hey man, Broodmother, great land at mid, able to come back nicely, scouted out the stacks of the Dire jungle, so wanted to move it and try and take these out to keep her net worth up high. But now with this kill, the Broodmother really starting to lose her grip on the mid lane. Maybe we also start looking at the side lanes now. Rotations for Tdz.
Queen of Pain of Aggressive is gonna find AUI here. I don't think he can kill him because he doesn't have Sonic. And as a matter of fact, there could be a line for a shackle here for Sumail. Doesn't have the vision just then. Landed. Aggressive will just blink into the lane and farm up a bit. So dodging a bullet there. Okay, taking another one. They're still gonna survive.
Very difficult to escape the splinters.
Tdz have a smoke on guard. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Whenever they pick up smoke, so I think this is the team that holds onto their smokes for the shortest time. Like it feels like they buy it and they go. They just have a plan. They want to keep the aggression up, get the ganks in. They now know Sumail is in the bottom lane, so they could have a really good opening here on Universe in mid. And if they do manage to catch him out, they should be able to claim the tower for Brood as well, which is a huge impact on the game. It's going to allow him to.
Fear's already here. They're going to go on Universe, but the cooldown's going to come in. Universe with a Rock of Barrage. He's going to stay alive here. So Paul was above, even hook-shotting himself back over to AUI to ensure everything is safe. And Tdz brought their entire team as well. And Tdz saw this since they backed up. That Observe Ward in between the towers, seeing everything.
Gyro is such an incredible counter ganker when you're in the right place at the right time. When you don't have to TP in and then drop your cooldown, which takes way too long, but you can just drop it from the fog. Tdz, I think, making the right call there, just getting out instead of trying to dive for the kill and maybe losing 2 or even 3 heroes. So Fear with another heads-up play. But as a result, he's still farming pretty well. He's being very, very effective in his movement. It's not like he's just hanging out in the mid lane, waiting there for 2 minutes for a gank to happen, similar to what the Wyvern did bot. He is just reading Tdz very well. And now he's going to have to read them extremely. Okay, he is very dead here.
There's Rocket Barrage damage. He's still going to live in 1 charges, but it's not going to be enough.
Immediate Caster's Curse. He's reading them very well. Gets ganked.
Well, Tdz also reading the game nicely. They understand Fear and his Gyro Club, just how many issues they'll create for Tdz. While this tier 1 tower, Sumail's going to try and keep it alive. You can only go for the denial. In fact, is able to claim it, and then power shots down all the Spiderlings too. So much extra money while on top lane. Visage caught out by Universe, and they're able to find that kill with the help of PPD. Universe not having even expend his hook shot to do this kill. And PPD's going to find another one. Strike's coming in, and as Clockwork want to try and help him out. The hook shot down into the cogs. Where's your battery assault? It's there as well. They got extra health coming in from Sumail. Just looking for the damage with the power shot. They want him dead, and they've got him dead.
He was so close to landing a Lightning Storm on PPD, but he finds the fog just in the last second there on the Crystal Maiden. And Shiki, of course, missing the first stun. He did have a chance, but did get dodged by PPD in that situation. Now I want to talk a little bit about the supports on both teams, because it's very important with these level 6s, actually aggressive.
Yeah, he's going up to Aoi, but with that cold embrace, Aoi, yeah, he's not going to survive. The attack damage from the tower is not going to be enough either. The Clockwork Rocket was flying down from Universe. He might have been expecting his Wyvern to survive a little bit longer. But yeah, about the supports.
Yeah, so both the supports on both teams are actually finding decent levels. PPD is level 7.5 in 11, which is very high for CM. Wyvern 5.5, Visage almost 6, and Tusk 5.5. I think it favors Tdz a bit more when their heroes get level 6. The Tusk and the Visage are extremely potent for ganks. It gives them a lot more information as well with the familiars together with Broodlings, they can really start taking control of the map and look for the ganks. Similar to what EG did in the last game with their Clockwork and Storm, they will be doing it by finding the information with just their summons and then taking it from there. Oh, that was really close here.
That was just an inch off, both in length and direction.
And at the same time for EG, the Winter's Curse from Wyvern. When you snowball in 2 heroes, the immediate counterplay from Wyvern can really destroy your combination. And they have to give Wyvern level 6 now. It looks like they will as well. AUI will take 2 waves.
Sumail locked to the trees, trying to cut through it with the power shot. But Carter are going to block him up right now. That Sigil's making life difficult, not to mention the rest of Tdz coming in with the stuns. They'll find themselves the pick. At the same time, EG, they're searching for this Broodmother, the Spirelings, they're chasing down PPD. The battery assault from Universe trying to keep him back, and now she cold embrace into the Splinter. That's a really good farm for Aoi.
And the Ice Shark's positioning for that gank on Sumail was just absolute. Oh, if you're almost getting
the homing missile, actually.
Level 1.
Okay, yeah, that's not enough damage. And it also probably won't get back past the towers.
Oh, what was that? The Ice Sharks that Tusk got off down here, this is like the Cliff of Doom for EG. That one right there. That's where they lost their game 1 to CDC as well against Tusk. He cut them off with Ice Sharks and split the fight in 2. And they actually got a really good fight that looked like EG could have gained even more momentum. It was the first of many fights that CDC managed to grab in that game. And Ice Sharks are so good on choke spots like that. You really just... They lock you down for so long. It's like Fissure, but in a way more controllable as far as angle goes.
They see him. They see the Broodmother cursing directly away, and the Spirelings turn on their mother as the Clockwork jumps in, but there's so many spiders in. The battery assault's not doing the work up against the Broodmother. The hunger is just insatiable from XZ. Universe being cold embraced up. Broodmother still running away, but they've lost the vision now. And in comes Shiki with the lightning bouncing around Universe as well as AUI. But with a shackle, the truck is controlled. There's nowhere near enough damage to find any kind of revenge kill on EG as Fear. With a Sonic Wave, a little bit of trouble. The familiar stuns as well as the spawns. They find the kill, but PPD letting it go right now until the snowball comes in from Tdz. They need more. Universe is on the run. The Cogs going to push back the rest of Tdz, buying space for Sumail until aggressive comes in with a scream. The familiars will do the work in Q. We'll find a pickup on Universe. A 3-for-1 trade-off.
And it looked like Shiki was getting over-aggressive there. Great.
And AUI was able to afford up a full Glimmer Cape on this Winter Wyvern. So there's more and more ways appearing for EG where they can fight Tdz if Tdz try and force the issue. And maybe that's another reason why. Oh, Queen of Pain able to escape, running away with that Gem of Truth side of Tdz. So it's a 4-1 trade-off.
This is what EG are able to accomplish with their BKB on Gyro with the 10-second charge, and the fact that they finally got a fight that was on one front. They got the opener on the Brood. No immediate counterplay from CDC makes the fight 5-on-4. And when they tried to go in for a counterplay, it's Sumail. Oh, nice deny here by Q. It's Sumail they have to try to catch, because he is outputting so much damage, but Fear takes all the attention in the fight with all the damage he is outputting. Of course, PPD there with a very good freezing field as well. And the Winter's Curse. They got everything off the way they wanted there, EG. Honestly, for EG, it's probably the dream scenario that Universe finds a kill on the Brood, and then that CDC drop everything on him, because he already used his hook shot and his Blade Mill. After that, he's not that valuable of a kill compared to a hero like the Gyrocopter or the Windrage.
Windrage is going to become more valuable shortly. We're looking at a Desolator build coming in from Sumail. So he's walking around with a Deso recipe. Didn't actually buy the Mithril Hammer. So probably one of those buys where he's not 100% certain that he will be able to survive the fight. And this is going to help him greatly going up against that Broodmother, who's already walking around with 22 armor. And they're establishing control again inside the Dire Jungle. PPD is trying to farm just on the edge of town.
I'm surprised with how CDC are playing this game that the Brood is not going for a BKB. I think it will actually be a really good item this game. You can pretty much most of the clockwork. You can ignore the Crystal Maiden. Lots of gyros. Damage is still magical. So the only hero who's really a threat is the Wind Ranger and her physical damage, but you could probably just disengage and find a different initiation angle or a different target.
They have to disengage now. Like they're trying to force out the top lane. In fact, EG, well, they don't have any vision behind the tower, so they're not assertive about it. With the double damage rune in the hands of Wind Ranger, they could at least force the fortification out from Tdz. And that will allow her to slip into the mid lane at one point and take out that tier 1-2. Sumail's going to run.
He's going to be fine. He has a good defensive ward down around the river area. CDC once again find nothing. They group up for it. But they do have decent lane positions. The bottom lane, EG didn't manage to push as much as they would have liked, I think. AY did whatever he could there with the Cold Embrace, but obviously couldn't get in too close with the risk of getting caught out. There's a lot of spiders are being cleaned up here.
So much money for EG.
And this is the objective. This is where the fight's going to be.
They're going to be really happy with the spawn timing of this. Is 10 seconds away from spawn, so it's a quick Roshan, and the reason why it's even better is Sumail still is holding on to this double damage rune. So he's got this during the next fight. In fact, EG, they're moving forward at the moment. The Hawk shot in from Universe. He's caught two inside the cogs and forces himself back out again. The Chancellor is a real lock-in position. Universe, he just gets exploded, but at the same time, Sumail trying to bring down Garda. There's a little bit of help. PPD. The freezing field's not doing enough work. In fact, he's dying to familiars, and he will in fact go down. They're going in deeper, but Sumail locked in and controlled EG. They're going to lose 4. Beer trying to change it around as much as he can, but now they're going to lose 5. EG went in too deep. AUI blinking himself away to safety, but not far enough. He'll glimmer cape into the pit, but they lose everything. Aggressive with a triple kill. Tdz will also grab Roshan and cement their control of this game. It was starting to swing away from them. It was a 5k advantage in net worth going the way of Tdz, but look at the curve. When we go to the experience, it kicks straight back up again for Tdz. EG, they are in real trouble now.
Sumail just doesn't have enough damage just yet. It's 33 minutes in. He's not having his best game on that Wind Ranger compared to what we saw earlier on in the tournament. If he would have had the Deso, this fight would have been completely different. But they don't kill fast enough with the focus fire. I think they also layer their abilities a little bit too much. There was a little bit of stun layering there. The Shackle Shot was not expired when the Winter's Curse from AUI came in. And it also looked like they weren't focusing on the same target entirely. So they spread it like they did a lot of damage to 2 targets instead of killing 1 off. And then the snowball from Garter saves the Leshrac after his self-fuels. And they just get to dodge the freezing field and find all the kills at the end. Beautiful play from Tdz, not losing a single player there. It looked like it was going to be a great fight for EG, but they just lacked that little bit extra that could have turned it their way.
You're right. It also comes down to a huge snowball coming in from Garda. He was able to protect 2 of the Tdz players throughout the fight. So the layering from Tdz was perfect. But for now, Tdz back to that farming kind of game unless they can find an opening. The Observer was watching all of EG moving into their own jungle. Next wave of items is starting to arrive, so a full BKB Leshrac is now up and running. You've still got that Blink Dagger over on the Tusker. And we've got 2 plate mails, one for the Quap and one for the Broodmother. So we're looking at both Shivas and Assault Cuirass being built up here for Tdz. And in fact, the Assault Cuirass is already done. And that's over on aggressive.
He is 7-0-9. Super farmed this game, 235 CS. He's 3rd highest. CDC have got full map control now. That one fight just gave them the entire map on a platter, and they even have a gem, so the final parts of EG's defensive lines outside of their base is now gone. And with Shiki with this BKB and the Aegis, the next fight EG take, they don't kill Shiki during BKB with anything else than a Focus Fire Wind Ranger. But her Deso is still not ready, so I'm not even sure that's gonna cut it. And then they still have the problem of dealing with the second life. This next fight CDC are going into with a very, very high odds of winning unless EG get a miracle combo off.
And they even have to babysit Smail as he tries to complete up this Desolator. Win range not the healthiest of heroes as far as life goes. And now it's even harder for him. It's just...
It's a good idea.
You have to venture so deep into the Radiant jungle for this farm.
Fear just upped his damage quite a bit with this butterfly. And of course his defense as well. 35% evasion. There's no MKB on the Radiant. It's a really good item against Visage. The Broodmother will also lose quite a bit of damage. But judging from how the fights have gone so far, CDC haven't really targeted Fear super early in the fights. I think he died last in that last fight. They just went for the easy targets first, and then they took out Smail. And then on to Fear in the end. If they can tank the Gyro's damage with this Kiras giving them all 5 armor, with the Brood giving them all 5 armor with Vlad's, they have 10 AoE armor. The left looks pretty fragile in isolation right now, but he technically has 18 armor during team fights. EG. They don't have enough oomph right now. They have to just wait, try to wait out the Aegis, get the Deso on Smail, and then go for the fight of their lives to come back into this game. And CDC can just keep map control. They're doing the right thing. They're farming the enemy jungle. They're pushing out both top and mid lane. EG are taking the only lane that's kind of safe for them here in the bottom. And they're not even showing a carry down here. It's PPD who's split pushing. They might be concerned with losing a more key hero at this point.
Well, right now, Snake's looking for that key hero. They've smoked up with 4 players as well as a couple of familiars. Shiki is the only one showing himself in the mid lane. In fact, yes, they are going to wrap around the bottom. As you said, is AUI and PPD is the 2 supports who are down here. Smail's just trying to farm the jungle. He's 50 gold away from having that Desolator. And right now he's going to walk almost into EG. The blink into the tree line as well as TP out. Smail, he does it in time. And AUI looks like he'll also be successful. So unsuccessful smoke gank from Tdz, and a lot of time wasted for them.
And they lose a tower. They will deny it though, so not the biggest loss, but EG doing a good job reading map movements with zero vision. If you look at the dire vision, they see absolutely nothing right now. And on the quite the contrary, CDEC, they have 4 observer wards out.
When these familiars are done, well, then again, hook shot, Universe, he's found the Broodmother, the BKB be done. Universe just 4-stars himself away. It's Shiki. He's moved up even further, looking for Smail. Smail going to get perfectly stunned and brought down by the pass over. Fear with the call down. He might have enough damage. No, he does not. EG lose 3. This is spiraling completely out of control for Evil Geniuses and perfectly in the position for Tdz. AUI locked on the other side of the trees. He's dead to the world. The only one left up is Universe. But this is the time when CDE set his call down to try and stop this push on the top lane.